Hello! Welcome back to another episode of Pensions and Homies Season 2. We are your hosts, Toku Frankie.
And Sergeant Hooked on Heroes. How you guys doing?
I'm doing okay, Zach. How about you?
Doing well. Happy to discuss this topic we're going to get into today. Oh, my God.
Yeah. We love talking about Power Rangers on the Power Rangers podcast.
Power Rangers all the time, daily. Every day.
Yeah. We actually fly to America every week to watch Power Rangers. Did you know that we do that? That joke won't make sense to people who don't watch our podcast. If you don't know, we actually travel to Japan all the time to watch Super Sentai. So we actually do the same for America. We live in the bottom of the ocean, the Atlantic.
So much travel gives us aneurysms.
For those who are unaware, good for you. But to give you some context,
anyway,
Power Rangers has existed for the last 30 plus years, right? Woohoo! Yay! But ever since Hasbro acquired the brand back in, 2020? It was definitely during COVID, I know that for sure. Yeah, things have started to take a bit of a downhill spiral. Not in terms of the show quality, but more so with the toys and how they handle that. We have a couple episodes discussing that back in Season 1, so if you want to hear our thoughts about the Lightning Collection, or the way that they handled packaging and quality control, we talk about that a lot over there. So we can even link some episodes down in the description. Something that happened fairly recently, like I'd say less than a year ago now, was Cosmic Fury being the last season to be produced. And since then, the company has decided to take a hiatus with Power Rangers. So as fans, we've kind of been in the dark for a while.
Yeah. And then there was that really cool day where they were just like, we're going to do this thing called the Heritage Auction. It's just like, Heritage Auctions is like its own like entity. And we're just going to auction off, how about every single thing we've ever had on the show that possibly could be considered a prop? Everything. They came from Toei? Fuck it, doesn't matter.
Villains,
things you got fucking ties memories to, don't give a shit. Fucking sell it. Everything.
They even have Masked Rider there.
Like exclusive America only things. They're done.
So cool. That Heritage Auction was a great thing to wake up to one morning. And then before you knew it, it was live and people got their hand on a lot of things from the show, which was bittersweet because on one hand, this is a way to like forever preserve these very valuable costume pieces, props, memorabilia. Some actors who were in the show even got to bid on their own suits, and some actually won. I know Jason Font won his. Do you know any other actors that won their own suit?
I'm trying to think.
Brendan Mejia. Brendan Mejia won his one of his suits as well.
He won specifically his Dino Supercharged suit.
Yeah.
And I think he got, I want to say, one of the prop mini Tira like changers.
Yeah.
You know, like the gun. It
came with the suit.
Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, he got.
And other fans in the community, like Morphin Legacy, got the Mystic Mother staff. And a lot of other fans got a lot of stuff too. What's it? The Power Rangers museum or like archive? Do you know their account? Let me.
I can't remember exactly. Check. I know for sure. I think is that Montyverse that got the
Ziggy's. Yeah.
Yes.
Ziggy's suit.
Legend. That's amazing.
Yeah. No. So happy to see so many people in the community like keep these because, you know, there was a lot of stuff that Hasbro sold off in the Heritage Auctions, and if it had to be anyone, I'm happy to see it go to people who genuinely appreciate it and
we'll take care of it.
Throw it to the side, right, especially the actors, because those actors have such a important connection. These prop suits, getting to keep them forever in their own property is great.
Yeah.
But it's also just sad. The Morphin Museum, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. So it's also, yes, you're right. Like you said, it is sad because like Heritage Auction thing, it was rumored and then all of a sudden it was like, boom, a thing. We're like, whoa. After absolute radio, that's even too nice. That's too nice. Radio silence is too nice. It was like the show didn't even exist. Like it never was on anything. And all of a sudden like, oh, Heritage Auction. We're like, excuse me, what about the like reboot movie show whatever thing that was supposed to be? That fell apart into nothing.
So
then it was Heritage Auction.
With the Power Rangers reboot, Hasbro had the idea of ending off the 30-year continuity Power Rangers has been continuing for a reboot with a Jonathan Entwistle, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That never saw the light of day. Unfortunately, it was silently scrapped. Just one day, we never heard anything from it
I
again.
don't think it was ever real. That's just me.
I think at some point it definitely was something, and I heard rumors around that Jonathan Entwistle himself was really trying his best to make it a reality, but the powers that be at Hasbro were just not agreeing with him. So I guess you could say it was due to creative differences that the project never really launched. But it just makes you think like how much we could have gotten through this reboot, but Hasbro just simply
Mm-hmm.
said like, "Hey, no, we just don't want it to be that," or like it has to include something to do with MMPR. Like I don't know, like we don't know what they said in those closed doors, but all we know
And to an
now is that it's not happening.
yeah, as it was, yes, and it was, and to an extent, to me, that combined with the heritage auction so quickly after that was like, I don't want to talk very badly about things. Everybody has beaten this dead horse into the ground, right? But like, it gives a sour taste in your mouth of like the respect of it. Like, I get that, like, to the average person in throughout the world, America, wherever, Power Rangers might not mean anything to them, but it'd be the same for them if you turn it around on them of like if Doctor Who were to do that shit, or like Marvel, like just all of a sudden just all their shit, and it's like just it's seemingly carelessly is what it felt like, a little.
Yeah,
So
it's a real shame because on one hand you could see it as Hasbro kind of clearing inventory for future projects that they have in mind for the show. Like let's be real, for 30 years there has been a lot of things to be featured in Power Rangers, and so you can't just keep that all in a warehouse forever. Especially if you look at some of the suits on Heritage Auctions websites, a lot of them are deteriorated or yellowed. Like
mm-hmm.
they weren't kept in the best conditions to the best of their ability. The people who conserved these costumes tried their best to keep them in the best shape possible. That's why it was even worth selling it in an auction. But things like Donkey Kruger's face or the clear plastic on like Turbo's helmet, like or RPM's helmet, like they all yellow, they all like frayed.
Or the movie MMPR pink helmet. Ugh,
Yeah,
that
they're
one
not in the best
really
case.
yellowed.
They're not in the best condition.
Yes.
So yeah, you could see this heritage auction being a step forward, and it being Hasbro's commitment to wanting to keep the brand alive. So they're clearing space for the new, right? Out with the old, in with the new. But on the other hand, Hasbro has not really shown a lot of appreciation for Power Rangers as a franchise, as a business,
Brand.
as a brand. It just hasn't been doing a lot. They haven't been promoting it. They haven't been showing any like videos outside of just archived show clips. They don't do anything with the toys. Last thing we saw was with Cosmic Fury, and that was a, let's be real, very disappointing toy line. For suits that were meant to be toys, we never got figures of them. So great job there,
Great.
Hasbro. It's been radio silent, and that's
Mm-hmm.
not an exaggeration. Fans have been literally waiting in the dark for Hasbro to do anything for
Yep.
months, over a year now at the time of this recording. So
But then,
to see them get rid of everything is not much of a surprise, because to the fans it seems like they just want to get rid of everything that has to do with Power Rangers to make a quick buck.
yes.
And
Yep.
yeah.
Clean their hands of it. Absolutely. But then there was a light in the distance.
See it coming closer.
Our friend
Which is
Jin,
fitting
who we got to
because
meet in person at Power Morphicon, was the first, as far as I know, to leak any of this, and then it got followed up by other publications confirming things. Something is happening with it, with a series that's going to be on Disney Plus. Now, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your goddamn horses, all right? Because people are like, oh, we should call it the Neo-Disney era, and blah, blah, blah. Pull it back a little bit, okay?
Or we go into that. For those who do not know, Disney used to own the brand. Back in the 2000s, I believe, is when
they bought it from Saban.
Exactly. They bought it from Saban, and from Ninja Storm all the way up into Operation Overdrive, right?
Through RPM.
Yeah.
Through RPM.
Thank you. Through RPM. How could I forget that? RPM is my favorite season. How dare I? Yes, from Ninja Storm to RPM, Disney has owned the brand. So now that the news of Power Rangers potentially, allegedly, coming back as a Disney Plus series, when people see the word or name Disney, they immediately assume that it is going to be the resurrection of the Disney era, which is
and
a
they're
fan
going to be
favorite for
behind
a
it
lot of people.
And Yes, and like they're gonna have their Disney writers doing it and blah blah blah. Whoa. So what we know
Unfortunately.
is just this. It is apparently a thing. A lot of different publications talked about it. We know it's solidly something. Okay. The current showrunners of the really good and please watch it Percy Jackson show right now, which was the movies that were from the books and they made it into a series now, way better. They're supposedly, allegedly, as far as we know, supposed to be the showrunners for this. Absolutely. Thank God we have some kind of pedigree behind this. And that it's going to be on Disney Plus. That's it. There is like rumors and speculation about what we might get, but that's like the solid facts we know. So it doesn't mean that Disney's going to be like having any kind of input really. Sometimes that happens, like certain Marvel shows or like now they have Doctor Who, they got to kind of like not really tell them what to do, but like there are certain like guidelines and like restrictions and blah 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 they had to do with it being on the platform. But they're not having like the Disney writers from that time come back to do the new season. Like that's not exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's
it would be the same Hasbro team that has been creating the Power Rangers episodes since Beast Morphers.
Right. But I know that the showrunners, the Pre-X ones, will be involved with some of that writing as well. So it won't be just them. It'd be like this mix here. So that, woohoo, new blood.
Now, yes, that's what we know for now, and it's very, very, very out there. It's not concrete. Take it with a grain of salt. But as Power Ranger fans who have been desperate to hear anything about the brand for months on end with nothing to go off of besides the very heartbreaking Heritage auction, anything is something, and that's why this is a very hot topic at the moment for the community.
Yeah.
Now, something to keep in mind that if this does exist, this will not continue the previous continuity that has existed for the last 30 years. This would essentially be a new reboot series. With Jonathan Entwistle, I believe they were working on a movie. Maybe turn series at some point, but like we just said, it kind of like faded off into nothing, so we really don't know what was going to be that. But this new rumored Disney Plus series will be a series. It's not
and completely
going to
brand
be
new with everything because they don't have any fucking suits. They don't have anything.
It's going to be completely original. Original suits, original storyline, original characters, the whole nine. This is not something that's going to be a Sentai adaptation, as much as most fans, including me, would like to see. It's going to continue on that. We're going to do our own thing and
no, they are still technically within the Toei deal. So like they could, but it would be like a lot of extra money to like get like the Zenkaiger or Dom Brothers or whatever suits to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you do see anything that's going to be like, hey, is this is anything at all? It's got to be archival footage now or like a reference to like a place. That's it, because they can't use the suits because the suits they're not theirs anymore.
Yeah. Right. I think if this series were to exist, they would definitely throw in an Easter egg or two for loyal fans who have been around, calling back to previous continuity, but maybe not so directly that like you can draw a line between whatever universe this is. But maybe just like a, hey, if you got that reference, like, hey, we're in a smoothie bar. No particular reason why, wink, wink. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing where if you know, you know.
See that new waiter? His name's Ernie. He's kind of weird. Ha 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 ha.
You know. His name is Bernie. Sounds familiar. Like, you know, some joke like that, right? What I was going to say earlier when you brought it up, Zach, is if this is something that they're going to work with Toei, I don't see it being very, I guess, prevalent. Like they won't really feature a lot of anything current Sentai stuff in this new series. What the vibe that I'm getting from Hasbro as a company with Power Rangers is that they want to make it as original as possible so that they can make 100% of the earning. I'm pretty sure like because they had to buy Sentai footage and the costumes had to be shipped over and like the Japanese team had to help out the American team, a lot of their profit from these seasons is cut for Toei as well. Also just like the license in general. So
well, and there's the other goofy thing that because they have their deal with Toei, they also, this is pretty much why we've gotten such a absolute stop on any Sentai seasons past Deca Ranger getting like a English release like we were getting like with the Kamen Rider seasons and stuff like that, which is silly and goofy.
So it definitely won't be anything related to either the previous continuity that we've been establishing for the last 30 years or anything going on with Sentai. It's going to be a completely original thing. And we know this because well, again, they sold everything that they owned from Power Rangers. So even if they wanted to, they can't because they no longer own it. And two, they have completely gotten rid of the production department back in New Zealand. Wherever they decide to film this Disney Plus series, maybe it will be in New Zealand again, but that'd be a little silly since they just left. Might be in America, might be in another place. I don't know, Scotland for all I know. But it won't be familiar locations, if that's what you were curious about as well. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Now, Jin, the same person who kind of leaked all of this to begin with, also posted this little cast listing around April Fools of this year. Don't know if it's legit. Here it is on screen. Don't take it too seriously. One thing about Jin is that even though some of the things that he says does come true, not everything he says does. So
he likes to play around a little bit and have fun. So
a little bit is
he's a bit of a troll. It's fine.
He's a troll for sure, but funny nonetheless though.
He ain't hurt nobody.
Like if you're in on the joke, it's funny, guys. Honestly, take it with a grain of salt. Some of the things that Jin does say though does have credibility, so let's just put that out there.
This cast thing, probably not. It gives probably you an idea legit of what they'll probably do, because they're probably going to try to cast young and upcoming unknownish actors like they did originally, because that worked at that time, and God forbid we ever move on. Yeah, I know somebody. He's right over there. Right there.
No, maybe one day. Maybe one day. If they make this like each season is a new team sort of formula that they had going on for years, like maybe you'll see me in the audition room. Maybe you'll see my face somewhere. I don't know. Maybe
past my prime, but hey, listen, Hasbro, help me out. I'll be a mentor.
No. Not past your prime. Listen, the door is open. Even if you're not a ranger, you could still be part of the cast in some way. You can be the next Bernie.
Catch me in the suit for the Megazord. Just saying. So let's just a little get into what we both sort of think about what they might do and our fears about things. I am doing the best I can to be extremely, and I mean this, I know everybody throws this term around, it means nothing now, but I truly mean this, truly, really, cautiously optimistic. And I really got to make sure people understand what that means, because people throw that out there and they just say it to say it. Okay, it means that you're excited, but you're not a dummy, and you're not going to be like lied to if something falls apart that you're excited about. Right. So we've been hurt too many times as a fandom by different new things coming up and seasons being weird and blah 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 blah, to like be like, oh wow, for sure, let's just take a sword sama about it. You know what I mean? So like, I'm excited, but I understand it could just be gone tomorrow. And that's just the thing I have to just kind of deal with, and it's fine. It's fine. That's what therapy's for. Anyway, so with the show and what they'll do with it, I don't really know. There's a lot of ways they could take it. I mean, if they do something that is something with the Sentai, that's going to be weird, because they're going to have to waste a bunch of money to get those suits and stuff. But think about it, though. They have Disney backing it at least somewhat monetarily to have it on Disney Plus. Who knows? I don't know. Disney's trying real hard to have shows that are on, like the new Goosebumps show, Percy Jackson, things like that are bringing in like newer, younger viewers. Maybe they will want to do that. Put that out of your head though, because I'm also of the mindset, to me, be ready for it to be just something really fucking new and weird and not what we would expect it to be. I don't want people to just think it's going to go right back into the adaptation churn cycle here. You know what I mean? You get rid of that, because if they don't have the suits with everything anymore, no. I could be pleasantly surprised. Maybe I'm wrong, and they'll be like, "Oh, we actually reneged the whole deal. Here we go, and blah 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 blah. We're bringing suits in, and Goziudra is what we're doing. Blah blah blah." Sure, but also, tomorrow pigs will fly, and I'll fart rainbows. You know what I mean?
But you did that already.
I know, but I didn't want to tell. Oh, we're recording live. Oh, we're recording this. Jeez. So, like, there's that part of it. And they could do some unique things, but I worry about what they'll do, because, like, I understand the idea of wanting to, like, forge this new path with entirely original things. Cool. know what you're doing and respect the craft to be able to do that. Now, having the Percy Jackson people being at the helm of this gives me hope because they know what they're doing. They've done a lot of projects, so they can take something like Power
Similar
Rangers.
to Power Rangers.
Exactly, young teens banding together to fight evil and blah 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 blah, right? Monsters and stuff like that. Similar vibes, right? You can make it work, but it's a very fine line to tread. And I worry that there's a really goofy part of the fan base that'll be like, "It's an adaptation, so I'm not gonna watch." Go cry to your mama upstairs after you go get your freaking pizza rolls. You go back down to your dungeon in the basement, dude. Nobody cares.
Woo! He's coming for your neck. Guys,
so like it could be cool. It could be cool. I'm excited to see what they will do with it because with Disney owns Marvel. So like, who's to say some of their design input things there we get some like Marvel infusion of things in? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Marvel suits aren't always the greatest, but sometimes they got some killer ass designs. So like,
they got budget
right,
at least.
Cool, exactly. So like, that's gonna be weird to see it with budget. That's a weird thing too. Is seeing it with budget. Cautiously optimistic. I could see it going a couple different ways. Adaptation is like the very, very bottom underneath the ground and like corpse type dead idea that it probably isn't going to happen. Most likely to be some new thing. I just, for the love of God, I don't want it to be super edgelord angsty. I will cry. I will be so upset. It'll be so boring. We've done it already. That's why 2017 to me didn't work. Because none of them felt like decent people besides Billy. Like they were all just a bunch of assholes for nothing. And Rita was like Dunkin' Donuts and whatever she was talking about. And Goldar was a goop. There's a lot. Just stop it. Current Marvel movies. What I like about them. I know they've been garbage recently, but Marvel movies sometimes have a really good part of like making sure they show the heroes saving people's damn lives. And making that like a main shot that you see, that inspires hope. And it's a reason that people watch shit with superheroes in it. So make that happen with Power Rangers and people go, oh shit, this is nothing like Mighty Morphin, like they're going to say. And be more interested because it's going to give them that Marvel vibe or that hero vibe, but be somewhat latching onto the nostalgia as well. There's a way they can do this that they very well, it's a crazy mixture in a cauldron here that could either blow up and incinerate and be nothing, and then we're left for another, whoever knows how long until someone buys the rights and does something with it. Or does well.
All your thoughts are valid. And honestly, I feel very similar. I am in the same boat when it comes to having high hopes but low expectations for this. Like you just said, we have been disappointed in the past. And to avoid that feeling, I just simply don't want to get so excited about something that isn't so concrete, only for it to fall through, similar to Jonathan Entwistle's reboot.
Throw me some cast pictures. Throw me a trailer, a teaser. Some storyboards.
If we get something like that, that's gonna have to be like way.
Then I can chew on it. I know it's real. I can consume that. We're talking about.
But as of now, we're working off of like a tweet and a dream, pretty much. We're not. We have some articles covering it now. It's not just Jin's tweet. A lot of people have started to share more details about the project too, which kind of adds to the okay, like maybe this is like a real thing going on. But as fans, like we just have to wait and see. It would be great if like this new team of writers and visual storytellers take this brand and give it a new life, taking it to a different approach that hasn't been done before. Bringing it up to a new audience, because for the longest time, especially in the Nickelodeon Hasbro era, it's been very 2-year-old to
4-year-old
preteens. Yeah, like it's not very mature. There have been some mature topics that have been discussed in later seasons. Cosmic Fury even touching on amputees and trans visibility with Zato's quote, "Nobody deserves to be in skin that they don't like," or I butchered that so hard.
Yeah, a body they don't like. Yeah.
Right. Like those topics have been discussed. But with this new series, they are aiming to target a more mature audience, mostly like early to late teens, which will open the door to a lot more emotion. I feel like I think a lot of the time with these Power Ranger episodes, it's okay, there's a conflict, we're gonna solve it with this solution, and then now we're done. But it's especially like after this much time has passed, like it's kind of gotten a little stale. Like you know what to expect. It's become very predictable. With this new angle, I hope that they can actually flesh out some things, especially when it comes to characters and their relationships with each other. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Also, just like the art style, like I think taking it in the style of what Percy Jackson is right now on Disney Plus, like that would be really interesting to see, especially when it comes to the fight choreography. I think that they could also take that in a new direction as well if they decide to make it their own thing. Like in my opinion, if you're gonna make this original, really go out of your way to make it different from what is shown in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So like with the case with Cosmic Fury, like yeah, the suits are original and a lot of the fight scenes were original. But it's still the same Power Ranger formula that we've seen time and time again. And if you put Cosmic Fury fights next to, say, something going on in Zenkaiger, yeah, they're different seasons, but you're gonna get the same idea. Like they're doing the same. Okay, as a group, we're gonna fight all these henchmen and then get these certain angles. You know, Super Sentai definitely does try better. Yeah, I was gonna say like Super Sentai does better with like camera angles and like effects, but
quality. Sorry.
And quality. My hope is that for this new season, if it does come out and it is something that we can sink our teeth into, it does take that freedom of doing whatever they want and creating something that's very like cool.
So you bring up the fight choreography. See, nowadays we have things like the Daredevil show and like Shang-Chi and like all these other shows that have like really well done fight choreography to them. Like when Power Rangers was a thing, that was the only thing that did the fight choreography like that on TV at all, besides Walker Texas Ranger, I guess. like that was really the only thing on TV. But now we see a lot more shows have pretty involved fight scenes and choreography and things like that. Do something cool with that. Also, the mandates thing are gone from Nickelodeon, where they're like, make sure you don't let the Rangers fight each other for too long and blah, 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 not get along. That's done because it's Disney. It's Wild, Wild West territory, right? Do something with that.
Do something new if you want to capture the audience that they're going for, which is, like I said, early to late teenagers, because that is who you're going up against. You got Shang-Chi, you got Daredevil, you got Spider-Man, like all of these shows, like that's what they have in mind when it comes to live action superhero fight. Not that you have to have the budget or match their style exactly, but to do something similar. You have to be able to
stand on par with them, you know?
Right.
And the thing too is that there's this giant, huge, like size of the planet type boulder we have to get through, which is making people give a fuck about Power Rangers and not be embarrassed by the brand. You know, I'm sorry to like be so brash about it, but it's just the truth. Like that's been like the thing, the specter hanging over it for so long. Is it's Power Rangers, so people don't give a shit.
It's been so stuck in its ways for so long. To break that expectation and to show them what else it could be, because with the 2017 movie, for instance, like that, even though it didn't do so well, still gave people something new to look at. It was in the mainstream for or like in the, it was popular. It was trending for a while. Power Rangers was actually being taken seriously for once, even though it then quickly went back to what it usually was.
To do that, I think that this needs to be successful, duh. Then they need to quickly, as they fucking can, diversify. Have other things within that hit other demographics. Have a school age level for kids type thing that's maybe animated. Have a anime style one, like you know with Star Wars Visions, where it's like all these different animation companies come together and do their own Star Wars idea. Do that with Power Rangers. Can you imagine that? Doing like an anime take on something and having like a season that's all that kind of a visual style just for the hell of it, to try it. You know what I mean? You got to have those different ways of like attacking it to see what works. And you got to have a company and a production and people that care enough to try and do that with it, to be like not edgy, but to take a chance, to gamble with it. If you were to go on the street right now and for some reason not be arrested by doing this, but talk to families and ask their children if they know what Power Rangers are, they're not going to tell you. They will not know, and if they do, they're only going to say Mighty Morphin, and that's basically it. Besides that, they're probably not going to say anything else. People don't care as much as like the fandom does. You know what I mean? You have to break past that. If someone's a Marvel fan, that's cool. Lots of people like Marvel. Read the comics, play the games, watch the movies, blah, 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 right? like it goes outside of it, and like a broad spectrum of people like that stuff. Not as broad a spectrum of people are into Power Rangers, so there's that block to get through. You know what I mean?
There's a lot going on with Power Rangers right now, and we can only wait and see what comes of it, but we would love to see what you guys think of it as well. Go ahead and leave your thoughts down below of what you believe will happen with this new Disney Plus series, if it even will happen.
And we'll hope this video doesn't age like spoiled milk.
Well, that's the beauty of it. We have no idea. We can't predict the future. We can only make theories and hope for the best.
Yes.
Again, high hopes, low expectations. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching today's episode, and we hope you continue to have a lovely day. Take care.
So
bye.
Bye-bye.